It's Cheap Homesteading here, and today's the day. Today I'm going to sharpen up my chainsaws, get them ready for cutting firewood in the next few weeks. We're going to use the Granberg file and joint. It is a very accurate sharpening system. So let's get to it. This is the Granberg file and joint. It is an excellent chain sharpening system. Very accurate, and it's lasted for generations. I have memories of my dad using this exact one. He loved it. That's all he used to sharpen chains, and it worked for him. He cut firewood and he got it all done. So very well constructed, nice aluminum. It's got your angle of your tooth, and it's all very easily read and well marked. And here is your degrees of your tooth. I have to say, it is truly accurate. It is a very good sharpening system. The only downside is it's a little slow. After you use an electric sharpener, it's a little bit slower, but that's okay. We're gonna move the chainsaw this way because that's not okay. So we're gonna put the chainsaw in the vise, nice and secure. So you get the sharpener, slide it over the bar, and get it so it just touches the pins on the chain. That's what I find anyways. And you tighten up your jam nuts, and you hold her there tight. So you want to make sure that it moves free. And when you get to the tooth, when you push back, you want it to catch it and hold on to it, because that's exactly the same spot each tooth. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Okay, this adjustment is the really important one. You don't want the file to cut into the chain, so you got to raise it up so it just doesn't hit the chain, and it makes a nice cut into the tooth. There we go. So it basically just touches. Now we're going to set the angle of the tooth. And it's at 35 degrees, and that's a very common angle, and all my chains are at 35 degrees, except my ripping chains, they're at 10. When I would have sharpened this with my electric sharpener, it's cut at 35 degrees and it's straight. This thing has the capability of cutting on a little bit of an angle down, so I guess that's 10 degrees that way. So when we turn the saw to do the other side of the other teeth, we have to go 10 degrees to the other side. That is the most accurate way of doing it. My chains come like that. My electric sharpener can't do that, so we're gonna do it on these. So the angle is slightly down like that. So now that you got it set up, you make sure you mark this tooth so you're able to see it. So you got to make sure you do the same amount of strokes. So say 3 each tooth. And you gotta feel it, and you can feel it. So I think it needs a little bit of oil on this. I'm gonna give it a few drops. It's kind of stiff. There we go. I'm back. Okay, so now that we got this set up, your first tooth, you mark it so you know which one it is. And the important thing is to count how many strokes you have done, and replicate it on each tooth after that, because it's really important that you replicate it, because if you don't, you're going to have some teeth that pull harder than others, and you're not going to get the quality chain sharpening you want. So you continue all the way down the chain, and make sure that the tooth seats really nice and solid, because that's where you get a lot more accuracy. It holds it tight, and it makes a nice quality sharpen. And you continue all the way around. Okay, now we've made it back to the original tooth, so we're done. So now that we did the 35 degrees on this side of the teeth, I'm going to have to turn it to the markings here at 35 degrees, which I can do the opposite teeth. So under here there's a wing nut, and you loosen this off. So now this one you loosen off, and you got to turn it to 10 degrees the other side. Okay, so now we have this adjusted again. So now we're going to roll to the next tooth. And I'm just going to mark it. And we're going to do the same thing and file the other way. So now that you're done sharpening the chain, it is so important for you to adjust your rakers. It doesn't matter how good you sharpen your chain, if you don't adjust your rakers, it isn't going to cut good. The distance between the edge of the tooth and the top of here, the way I like to set it is about a thickness of a dime. So I made a little block and I glued a dime, and basically you set it down and you file it down till the block will sit on both teeth and the dime just touches the raker. That's what I do.